everyone, what's design? I was always having this question when I was at university. I still ask this question. I'm always trying to find the really fundamental something. Sometimes I'm introduced as a product designer, but more precisely, through the cross-functional design, I try to gather together the different powers of the people organization and all the different aspects. So what I do is design management. This is a picture of a dessert. Maybe every single piece looks very tasty or even tasty. But if you eat them together, what would happen? If you think about the situation comprehensively, you would say this is something similar to the process of design. I think for the design, to create something good, you have to make a step back and think about, for example, for this design, the location and presentation and all the different things should be thought about because all of them are complicated, are together complicated in a very complicated manner. So it is very important to make a step back and look at the things at this level higher. I think this is very important part of the design management. Let me give you some anecdote. It came from my days at the home appliance maker. Do you know what this is? This is the air conditioner. But what I designed for that company was not like this. This is the design I made. This is a ventless air conditioner. It was an industry first ventless air conditioner. It is so easy to make a sketch of a ventless air conditioner because you don't have to draw many lines. But actually, because the air slits or vents are the functional parts, so it is not that easy to get rid of them from actual product. I had to go through a lot of difficulties. Well, what I'm talking about is that if you try to have the air conditioner in the room, you have to think about interior, environment, and maintenance, and so on. So you want to have quite a beautiful air conditioner. So you wanted to go back to this very simple starting point. But in the first year, I could get rid of only 3 vents. Second year, maybe a couple more. And the third year, for the first time, I could get rid of all the vents. But this interesting part starts from now. You bring out this ventless air conditioner to the field and the retail shop, and the sales clerks there said that this is just too new. It is very difficult for me to sell. I didn't expect it, but I didn't mind those words because it is new. Therefore, I could have a special, unique identity. And that is special, unique identity turned to be a design standard for the air conditioner. So if you go to the floor of the home appliance shops, what you see are these ventless air conditioners. But through this experience, I've started to find out something new. That was by connecting all those little discoveries, you can create or find out something new, some new values. But back then, I was working for an organization. Therefore, it was very difficult to design things in a cross-functional manner. Then after that, I changed jobs and became independent and was involved in many different design projects. Through that experience, of course, I had lots of the difficulties, but I'm going to skip them today. What I learned from that experience was that what we have to keep, what we have to believe in, is the drilling down to the very bottom core or fundamental point beyond the object, beyond the purposes and everything. So through that process, I managed to present something new, some new values and some new design. So as part of the design management, I was always going through that process. This is a very interesting number. When I look back my project and products, I can't help but realize that it always took 3 years. Three, that air conditioner, it took me 3 years. So if you think about 3 years, you may think it is rather a long time, because what is happening in the companies are all happening in the 3 months time space. But when it comes to the project, it might take 3 months or 3 years. But do you think that the time frame is very enough? It might be very similar to a question of we are marrying after meeting, dating together for 3 months or 3 years. Maybe very similar to that question. But getting to know each other, I mean, would require some time. So on that note, I would like to talk about the OSORO series design project, which also took 3 years. This Narumi Corporation is a very famous maker as its products called a bone china. But this OSORO products or OSORO series come with a silicone part. That combination is built on a lot of different creative ideas, which will allow us to get rid of a lot of difficulties you might face in the kitchen space. Do you know this? Probably you know about it because it has been reported in newspapers. Over the last 10 years, the sales at the department stores have halved. And in the domestic ceramics market, over the same period, the sales declined by 60%. Some people might think, okay, the industry is now facing ever-growing gap with the consumers. While I came across with this industry person who had this same sense of urgency, and we started lots of different projects, and that led us to the OSORO project. But obviously, I'm not the ceramics designer, so I had to learn and study a lot. But through that experience, I started to come up with this image. I'm sorry. Right. Sorry, a slide is missing. I actually had a really, really good slide. Well, what I want to say is that the ceramics market, ceramics industry was a very traditional market. But rather than calling them, are you very just too traditional, too conservative? I wanted to use that value and traditions, good value and pride from that. So, but to do so, we need to think about very simple questions. Why food? Why people have to eat? What dishes really mean? What are they? So then I thought about keyword dinner table. But if you think about dinner table, which comes with lots of different components or elements, and by looking at and finding out those elements and putting them and align them in order, in a different order, then you can start to see a lot of different things. Sorry, this slide was sort of swapped, and this was the slide I wanted to show you. As you can probably understand by looking at it. So don't you think this person's life is very different, see difference from our life? Do you lead this kind of lifestyle? I'm not denying this kind of the basic value. But what I wanted to say is rather than replacing this sort of a value totally, we wanted to build on this value and create something new. So going back to my point, food. Food is not just or eating a meal does not only mean eating, and dishes are something like that as well. dishes are not only the container on which you put food on, but it actually is involved in the whole different steps in process, like creation of the food and to the putting away the dishes. So we thought about different steps in the process, but at the same time we came across some problems. So here you can see the process or steps of the microwaves and oven, but Narumi is born China do not support those methodology. And once the born China is put in the oven, then it will crack. So it is not really suitable to the modern day lifestyle. So we needed to find new materials to support our solar dishes. And at the same time, I had to face with the challenge of creating something new in the Narumi's facilities, which is designed for the born China. This is the very first design sketch. What we are presenting back then was the modular set dishes. Modular issue set. But then we faced a new issue. If you think about the typical process of creating the ceramics, you have to put the mold into the kiln or oven. So, but the firing process is subject to the temperature of the day or climate or weather of the day. So then we face the backlash. Just for example, the team members, the veteran team member of the OSORO project was given really harsh words like, how many years are you working as a dishes maker? You know what that is, what that means. So, but in the second year, we had two turning points. But those moments when we saw the uniting of the different people. And the one turning point became with the return of this master model maker who was over 70 years of age. And so I explained the project concept to this person, and so I used this prototype, which was just kind of mess. But this 70-year-old gentleman said that if we don't do anything for this, who else would do? So, and soon after that, this horrible prototype started to make a shape. And the second point is a clay, and the clay development has to come with the growth development as well. So all those technical people had to try out the combination of the chemicals and the clays, almost 200 different patterns. So through that experience, and we could improve the accuracy. And by combining those very hard ceramics with the ceramics, excuse me, the silicone, which keeps its own shape, presented something totally new. And finally, also series were released and started to attract a very high valuation both inside and outside of Japan. But this is something interesting thing. What we have gone through is not only creating a new product, but also the design development process. And design development process we introduced in a Narumi corporation was also evaluated very highly. I think design management is something that would bring together love. This person looked very old, middle-aged, and looked to be tired. But through the project, overcoming lots of difficulties, this person's look became better. His glasses changed one day, his bag was replaced with something new, and his appearance and clothing were changed as well, to the better. So now this person looks so lively and so happy, regardless of what kind of big, harsh issues he's facing. good creation, fantastic creation. That doesn't mean only for this product and services. I think this good creation could lead us to a better life or fantastic life. But I think there's a key point. You have to look back to the very simple core and to putting together those very important yet small discoveries. It is not that difficult. I don't think so. I think you can start from today as well. Thank you very much.